I'm Randy Cook. I'm one of the 3 owners of SWS Forward P&D1 out of Cookeville, Tennessee. Prior to getting into the FedEx space, we had worked in global logistics, working large governmental and government organizational projects. Think about large projects in places like Yemen, Afghanistan, Somalia, Ghana, and doing supply chain management and managing that. You've got bonded warehousing places overseas, say in Cyprus, and you're hub and spoking your supply chain. We've looked to bring ourselves back home, focus more on some domestic business growth, and we found ourselves in the FedEx space. As we were looking to diversify what is our logistics portfolio, we were looking at a lot of opportunities within the domestic space, and we landed on FedEx for a number of reasons. And during that process, we formed a relationship with Route Consultants, dived into a number of your products and services. And as we did this and we started our path on our first acquisition, we realized there's a couple different types of buyers. Those that grew up in the space. I was a driver, or I was a BC and I want to own my own route, versus somebody who's maybe leaving corporate America and wants to get into the space. They want a route. They see the benefit on how they can build a business here. And that was us. We brought to the equation different experiences, but our experience was not born and bred in the FedEx space. Hence our heavy reliance and leverage on what Route Consultants and the team writ large could provide for us. As we really started to get into our very first one, APA's signed, we're diving into it. That's when we really got under the hood. And I think most of us have heard the saying, you don't know what you don't know. And you hit that point, and we recognize that. Having a lot of experience in our past lives with consulting, either being consultants or leveraging consultants, it's taking that subject matter expert and putting it against a problem set. And we recognized in our particular purchase that the owner we were getting it from was not that SME. They have a ton of knowledge. They knew the business, but they didn't know how to optimize the business, how to make that business work for them. Well, that's what we want, right? We want to build a successful business out of this and not just own a route. So we reached back out to the team, right? And we asked the team, hey, you've got years of experience, you've got so many lessons learned. Can we extract some of that, not from a more formal product that already exists perspective, but an intimate relationship and a collaboration, if you will, not just philosophically, but on our specific business, the one we're about to close on. And that was a phenomenal experience. It was really good. I think it was a first, perhaps, for some of the team at Route Consultants to take that approach. It was definitely, helpful for us because it gave us an additional set of eyes, right? That third-party perspective, if you will, between the buyer and the seller on taking a company that is not performing to its potential, but what can we do, right? How can we extract better performance from this? Not just on a financial perspective, but operationally. How can we hit those right KPIs with FedEx? How do we take it back into a stellar performing company? And from there, we started to work with the team intimately on that. That first started with taking a look at the company writ large, right? You have your people, you've got your trucks, right? We all say it, routes, those are your 2 main components. You got people, you have trucks. Well, those trucks, right, you got to strip it down those next layers. How do those trucks marry up with the routes? How does it marry up with what you're running every day? How is your load capacity managed? How many routes are you running? And we've all learned that, right? It's, am I running the right truck on the right route on the right day? So the very first thing the team at RC did is they helped us take a look at that. And quite frankly, we re-engineered the entire fleet makeup. Too many of the wrong trucks, wrong ones going to the wrong part of the rural area versus the dense. We're not running things at the right capacity. We're running too many routes. So the very first thing that the team did was they took an analytical view of our fleet and how that fleet married up with the CSA we had. And I'll be honest with you, we made some drastic changes based solely on that. And those were pre-closing changes, right? So we're purchasing these vehicles ahead of time. We're restructuring the fleet so that day one, we're ready to operate structurally in an optimized fashion. Next thing we really did was we realized that, the team that was in place were not ideally suited to manage an optimized DRO. I'll be honest, that worried us, and it worried us for a number of reasons. We understand the why at the time. We understood why. We were all about optimization. But until you were used to grabbing the system, working inside DRO, moving anchor points, understanding the specifics on the ground from your drivers, hey, this road does this, and yeah, you can't quite do it that way. When you start putting all that together for the first time, you want to have some experience behind it. And if you do it wrong, right, you just go in there and start clicking buttons and moving things around, you're actually going to make it worse for yourself. So we came back to the team at RC and we said, look, you have so much experience with this. Can you first do some desktop analysis on how our DRO looks, and taking the seller's former weeks of DRO? And that analysis was done. We got a report back. We got some good candid feedback. And the thing that it illuminated was, one, it was way off. Well, that leads us to understand that the team that was doing it was not best positioned to optimize, right? I can't look at someone and just simply say, hey, look, we really have to optimize this, if they don't understand how, from an execution standpoint and from a management standpoint and communicating to your driver standpoint. So we asked the team at Route Consultants, can you come in on a consulting basis and work with our team live at point of closing in our first weeks of operation? And they did. They're attending nightly DRO calls. They're one-on-one training with our BC. And that went on for a period of time till the team really got to see firsthand the end result, right? When you talk desktop and you say, if you make these changes, it will perform better. That's one thing, but you have to see it. And then you see it live, and then you see what worked, what didn't, and you get that external viewpoint to help everybody bring that perspective into play, see it play out in your operation, see it hit your financials, and everybody gets to see the end result. I will say it was not easy, right? Change management's never easy. And I think that additional benefit of having that external team, bringing years of expertise into the equation, helped us communicate to the team that we just acquired. That way they weren't looking at it saying, well, here's 2 or 3 individuals who just came from some other industry trying to tell us how things should work. Instead, we brought a philosophy to the table backed by the experience and expertise of the team at Route Consultants to help us implement. And I think that additional synergy really helped us drive performance, enhanced, viewpoint, if you will, with our team. How we grow in the FedEx space is going to leverage a few perspectives. It's even heavier on data analytics, information, and analysis, because it's not like I'm running a coffee shop down the street where if my financials, the month of May don't work out so well, I say next month I really need to sell 20% more cups of coffee. It doesn't work that way, right? This is a contract. It's not a business. And people have to appreciate that. And it helps you better understand how to perform. So when you look at FedEx and how we expand, we're going to be looking at a lot of metrics. Where are we buying? What type of route or CSA within that area are we buying? What kind of growth potential does it have by itself? What kind of growth potential is there within that terminal? And everything you do, it's around how do I structure my costs, and how do I analyze my information on a week-to-week basis, right? You can't wait till the end of the month to say, how did my fuel costs come out this month? Because if something is wrong, right? If someone's putting premium in your truck when they should be putting in regular, if that's not caught immediately, again, you can't make up for it the next month by selling more units. You deliver the packages you're handed, and that's what you got. You're not the one out there closing deals to say, hey, we just closed a deal with, the next Dollar General. We've got more volume coming to our area. That's not us. That's our client's job. Our job is to do the last mile, and we don't dictate our volume. So managing these businesses and acquiring these businesses, you have to appreciate and understand that. And if you do, you're going to make very smart acquisitions. You're going to manage your performance within the parameters of what you have when you look at your top line and the volume, and it's going to be extremely successful. But you have to appreciate the fact that at the end of the day, yeah, it's a business, but it's a contract. Everything revolves around that contract. Your numbers on how your revenue comes your way, fusion of Express, everything that comes with it. So that is really the foundation on how we're approaching our growth structure, is first appreciate and understanding the type of business that FedEx is.